Chapter 31. Sense of Self. Upon detection of the ghost port, Zethusela had wasted no time terminating it. He was of a view that the small amount of their conversation that had been captured was ambiguous enough as to provide little or no definitive information to whoever or whatever was at the other end of that invasive piece of technology. That said, there could be little or no doubt as to who the erstwhile spy had actually been. It was just a plain fact. The ghost port had not been present prior to Ziwu's visit, and it was more than capable of bypassing the existing security measures in order to install this insidious piece of spyware. So, under the circumstances then, things could certainly have been a good deal worse. The bottom line was Zethusela did not feel either he or the doctor had been meaningfully compromised. Indeed, this was, no doubt, simply a case of an unhealthy level of curiosity, something the Zybot had demonstrated a disturbing proclivity for in the past. Nonetheless, he would keep a very close eye on Ziwu until its departure. However, of far more immediate concern was the potentially very delicate conversation he was about to have with the good doctor, not the least of which was the undeniable facts with regards to his lineage. It was extremely doubtful the doctor would appreciate being encumbered with such knowledge, but there were simply too many unanswered questions to leave this particular stone unturned.
So tell me, Doctor,
Zethusela said innocently.
Do you think there was ever a time when the Queen ever truly trusted me?
Xicadian lifted his gaze suspiciously over the rim of his glasses.
I think she trusted you sufficiently to do what she wanted you to do.
Yes, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to get at. Do you think she ever really trusted me enough to believe that I would never betray her?
The doctor made a contemptuous chirp.
Au contraire. I think she trusted implicitly. You would absolutely betray her at the very first legitimate opportunity to do so.
Yes, I rather suspect you could well be right.
Zethusela concurred performatively.
And yet she's always trusted you implicitly, hasn't she, Doctor? So have you ever wondered, then, exactly why that might be? I mean, Queen Citalia is over 10 millennia old, so I have to imagine it has to be exceptionally difficult to deceive her with a lie, perhaps even impossible, surely you would agree.
I'm not quite sure I know what you're trying to get at.
Xicadian replied irritably.
The Queen has quite literally trusted me with her life on multiple occasions. So I don't think there's anything particularly surprising in the fact I have earned her trust. Emphasis on the word earned.
Yes, but it seems that during our entire manipulation of the Queen, she never once appeared to ever question your loyalty, or the possibility you may have been party to the deception. That seems just a little bit odd, don't you think? The Queen may be many things, but when it comes right down to it, she is nobody's fool. Well, nobody but yours anyway.
Xicadian put down a large pile of bandages he had been right in the middle of folding, and then stared pointedly at the scientist.
All right, Zethusela, out with it. What's really on your mind? Clearly you have something you want to tell me, so instead of running circles around the spider web, perhaps you should just come right out and say it.
Zethusela wordlessly placed 2 small medical slides onto the counter.
All right, I give up. What exactly are these supposed to be?
Why, you, of course.
Zethusela proclaimed emphatically.
Or at least 2 historical incarnations anyway.
Xicadian stared wordlessly at the slides for a brief moment before offering a very terse reply.
You don't say. And exactly how do you figure that?
What if I told you that with a little bit of help from Zelania, I had managed to gain access to the Nest's genetic archive? And what if I told you these 2 slides represent the genome of 2 previous Xicadian Zimatiri drones, who, just like your good self, had been promoted to Queen's physician? And last but certainly not least, What if I told you these two samples are genetically identical, despite the fact that they are separated by nearly 7 millennia?
That sure is a lot of what-ifs,
the doctor said coldly.
but regardless, I certainly hope you intend to return them before anyone discovers they have gone missing.
I swapped them out with some fakes.
Githusela retorted dismissively.
But let's stop circling around the web, shall we? You are a line of clones, Doctor, or at least all those promoted to Queen's physician anyway.
The doctor stared at Zethusela like he had just discovered a large nest of unwanted vermin.
You do of course realise, don't you, you could have saved yourself a whole lot of trouble by simply asking. Not that it was any of your business in the first place.
I apologise unreservedly, Doctor.
Githusela said, sounding genuinely abashed.
But surely then you understand the problem, yes?
And exactly what problem would that be, Zethusela?
Oh, come now, Doctor. Please don't be so coy. You knew all along exactly why the Queen trusted you so completely, didn't you? After all, she had been doing so for thousands and thousands of years. So the obvious question, then, is how could she have all of a sudden been so devastatingly wrong? And yes, I'm asking you directly this time around anyway.
I honestly don't know, Zethusela, nor do I particularly care to. Why does it even matter? Let's just put it down to good parenting and leave it at that, yes?
Well, that's the rub, isn't it, Doctor? Maybe it matters or maybe it doesn't, but there's only one way to find out. Surely you would be a lot happier knowing the truth. Let us try to find it together, my old friend.
I think you mean your only friend, Zethusela, and for how much longer who can really say. I suppose then you are about to tell me next that the truth will set me free. Or some other similarly worn-out cliché.
The truth is the truth, Doctor, and it patiently awaits a demonstration of your courage. Rest assured, however, whether or not you decide to answer the call, I will abide by your decision.
The doctor's expression was at last set alight with a wildfire of pure contempt.
Don't lie to me, Zethusela. I know you much too well for that. You already have my genomic code, don't you? If I say no, you will go ahead and run the test anyway. Don't insult my intelligence by trying to deny it. But since you seem to care so much about the truth, perhaps you can tell me why you decided not to commit suicide, but instead to become a suicide bomber. There is, after all, a very big difference.
You unfairly besmirch my character. I meant every word, at least when I said them anyway.
The scientist retorted sullenly.
Unbelievable. A more talented mental gymnast I don't think I've ever had the displeasure of meeting, and I'm still awaiting an answer to my question. Or will you try to slime-worm your way out of that as well?
You know full well the answer to that question, Dr. Xicadian.
I want to hear it from you. I want to hear you try to justify becoming a murderer and failed assassin.
Oh, give it a rest, will you, Doctor? You know as well as I do, Xitalia would have been killed by one of her own children many millennia ago were it known that she had a sister. There would have been no compulsory disillusionment to protect her position. We would simply have inherited a new queen, and in all probability a much better one than the one we have now.
Right. So notwithstanding your lame attempt to justify an act of naked brutality, you do realise, don't you? Such a revelation would have condemned our nest to the new home world of Quaverly. An absolute shithole of a planet, whichever way you try to cut it.
A very good thing, then. That's not where I would have taken us. At least not after learning about Jiwu's truly remarkable discovery.
The doctor's mandibles gaped wordlessly as he stared at the Shybot in utter disbelief.
Simply unreal. Has there ever been a more conniving and manipulative Shihari in the entire history of Xicadian?
Is that an actual question, Doctor, or just another rhetorical device upon which to couch your insufferable moral idealism?
I'll take the third option, which is to say neither. But regardless, it does rather beg the question. Do you actually intend to try again?
I do not.
Githusela replied dourly.
As it turns out, you are actually correct. Or at least partially anyway. Xitalia is nothing but a symptom of a far greater problem. No, I have a rather more ambitious plan for the future of our species, now that I have the time available to pursue it.
All right, that sounds absolutely terrifying. Perhaps you should seriously consider going back to Plan A.
Enough is enough, Doctor. You are simply avoiding the matter at hand. I will concede some of your criticisms are not entirely without merit, but this is about you, not me. There is a mystery surrounding your identity, and I think we owe it to ourselves to discover the truth. What is it exactly that makes you, you?
And you think confirming whether or not I'm a clone will give you an answer to that question?
I think the numbers don't add up, Doctor, and I would very much like to find out why. Rest assured that I will secure an answer to that question, whether or not you choose to come along for the ride. See? I'm being honest now. How do you like the new me?
I seem to recall telling you a very long time ago, discretion is the better part of valor, so excuse me if I choose not to answer that particular question. But you just don't get it. Do you, Xithusela? Unlike you, I already know exactly who I am, and those slides of yours won't change that.
So apparently then there is no harm in finding out whether or not you are a clone, is there?
Xicadica peered searchingly into the cold, metallic face staring back at him.
Not that I wish to change the subject, but you really should seriously consider putting your eyes back into your head. My patients might even suspect I've been abusing you, and you wouldn't want me to lose my position as Queen's physician, now would you?
Ah, yes, thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot to mention. I'm afraid you will need to bring your old she-bot back into commission.
That sounds more than just a little bit ominous. I don't suppose you would care to elaborate.
Very simple, Doctor. It's time for me to move on.
Xicadica immediately took on a very worried expression.
I may well live to regret it, but I don't suppose you would care to tell me a little more about your plans.
Probably better if I just keep them to myself. But please, Doctor, let us adjourn to the chemistry lab so we can finally solve the mystery of exactly who you are, or at the very least, who you are not.
Different body, but the same old Xithusela, the doctor thought to himself resignedly, as the two arachnids made their way solemnly towards the lab.
I truly do worry about you, Xithusela. The path to Zed's dungeon is paved with good intention. Please always try to remember with great power comes great responsibility, and I fear you sorely lack the wisdom you so clearly presume to possess.
For just the smallest moment, the scientist felt a tiny flicker of bitter resentment. Exactly who did the doctor think he was to speak to him like that? But then again, if not the doctor, then who else could he trust to speak the unpleasant truth, as he had undeniably done so many times before?
You are right, of course, Doctor. Wisdom has never exactly been my strong point, as much as I might wish it were so. Perhaps then you should consider coming along for the ride. With your wise counsel guiding me through the ages, Xicadia's future as spiders of the cosmic web is surely all but assured.
Xicadica laid a heavy hand onto the shiny silver carapace of the Zybot standing in front of him.
Very regretfully, it's wisdom, my good friend, that prevents me from ever doing what you have so tragically done to yourself. No, I'm very sorry, Xithusela, but I can think of few things that could possibly be worse.
The scientist took a firm hold of the doctor's hand and frostily removed it from his pristine, metallic body.
And hence my regret,
Xicadica said heavily.
Well, the good news, Doctor, is I won't try to involve you in any future machinations. I promise you will be safely left out of this, so you can continue to live your small and insignificant little life without any fear of disruption.
Please, Xithusela, why don't you just go with Shiwu?
The doctor said, almost pleadingly.
After all, I'm sure the Z-bot could very much do with your help, and who knows what it might find when it gets there.
I have every confidence the Z-bot, the other Z-bot that is, will do exactly what I want it to do. In a manner of speaking, we are of the same exact mind when it comes to the matter of alien life. No, Jiwu has its own destiny, and as it so happens, so too do I.
The doctor, with an expression of genuine sympathy spreading across his face, made as if to pat the scientist's body again, but quickly thought the better of it.
Well, anyway, the clinic will be opening up very soon, so I suppose we should just get this over and done with. Can I assume then that once this is over, I will no longer be seeing you around much anymore?
You will be seeing nothing at all of me after today, Doctor. Let's just say that I have a lot of research work to do.
Well, all right then. So what exactly are we supposed to be doing with these slides of yours?
Not very much, actually. I have, of course, already fully analysed these two samples and can confirm they are genetically identical. So all that needs to be done now is check to see if you are also a perfect match.
And for what possible reason wouldn't I be?
The doctor muttered to himself bitterly.
What possible reason indeed?
Schifusela replied enthusiastically.
But you know what they say about making assumptions.
Again with the clichés.
Xicadian said resignedly.
But speaking of assumptions, I assume you don't need me to provide you with a swab.
Schifusela, visibly wilting under the accusatory gaze of the doctor, proceeded to retrieve a slide from his personal locker.
Like I said, completely untested.
The scientist muttered awkwardly to no one in particular. As things turned out, running the comparative analysis was an entirely trivial affair. As Zethusela peered anxiously at the results, an expression of mild confusion was quickly replaced by the ghost of a revelatory smile.
Is something about this outcome somehow amusing to you, Zethusela?
The doctor said coldly.
Well, let me put it this way. You are a 99.98% match, which far more importantly also means that you are a 0.02% mismatch.
Meaning what exactly?
Xicadian said frigidly.
Meaning we owe the universe a profound debt of gratitude for the 0.02% difference that made you, you.
The doctor said nothing for a very long moment.
So that's it then? Are you satisfied now?
Schifusela's 6 remaining optical receivers all flashed with a bright white light.
But Doctor, surely you can see what's going on here. You are a mutant, a literal freak of nature. An aberration that was never meant to happen. The small variation in your genetic code was evidently more than enough to both facilitate and catalyse your betrayal of the Queen. Whatever else lies within that 0.02%, we know for a fact it utterly decimated your capacity for unconditional loyalty. A hard-coded trait, I might hasten to add, that is deeply embedded into virtually every Ximmateri drone.
Now it was Zethusela's turn to offer a hearty slap to the doctor's carapace.
I always knew I liked you for a reason.
Well, it's just good to know that I'm made of the right stuff then.
The doctor said bleakly, his voice hollow with despair.
You certainly are.
Schifusela concurred enthusiastically.
Just think about it, Doctor. For countless thousands of years the Queen has been able to rely on your loyalty, no matter how debased or immoral her machinations. But that all ended with you, a doctor with an ethical compass, and the gumption to back it up.
The scientist did a joyous little jig, and then continued to speak.
I swear it, Xicadian. I'm almost tempted to march right into the royal chamber and finish what I started. Take a look at these.
Schifusela elevated his 2 outer forelimbs, offering them up for closer inspection. Xicadian noted 2 small nozzles protruding from the end of each mechanical limb.
That's right, Doctor. Unlike Shiwu, I came equipped with dual pulse gun turrets.
The scientist started swinging his forelimbs round the room, performatively targeting some imaginary combatants. As the doctor watched Zethusela demonstrate his combat acumen, his expression of profound disappointment became almost palpable.
I have something for you,
Xicadian said quietly.
Really? And what might that be?
The doctor handed Zethusela a tiny crystal wafer.
All right, I give up. What exactly am I supposed to do with this?
You could, of course, just plug it into one of your ports and find out for yourself, but I think it would probably be more effective if I just told you. It's a log that contains evidence of your treacherous thievery when you deemed fit to steal the Queen's medical records all those long years ago.
Schifusela's eyes began to glow red.
I thought we were supposed to be friends. Why in Xicadian would you ever keep something like this?
Well, what can I say, Zethusela? Perhaps you shouldn't be in such a rush to forget about the other 99.98% of me the Queen apparently still so blindly believes in. By the way, is that actually normal? I've never seen a Z-bot do that before. Perhaps you should get it checked out by a professional.
The scientist's limbs started to shake in a way that genuinely alarmed the doctor. However, to Xicatika's considerable relief, he quickly seemed to calm back down, with his eyes returning to a neutral blue glow.
You know you never cease to surprise me, Doctor, even after all these years. Please never stop being you. Now, before I go, I need to acquire some of the viral sample.
I don't suppose I could just say no.
The doctor said drolly, even as he made his way towards the hidden lockup.
What in Xicadia is that?
Xicatica exclaimed incredulously.
What in Xicadia is what?
Schifusela replied curiously, sounding genuinely confused.
That thing stuck in the roof. It looks just like one of your fingers.